Hey guys, to go along with Elysia, we are getting another brand new hero to the roster, and this guy is really cool, and all signs are pointing to him being the next legendary fusion or fragment summon hero. Now I do have to say that it is a little up in the air. Here's the message that I got for it. The way that I interpret it is Elysia and Lord Phineas will be available for fragment summoning or fusion in the next update, which might even be the update that's coming in less than a week. But this could always be subject to change, or it could just be me interpreting it wrong, and Rokonshi's asleep by the time of me recording this, so I can't really confirm with him. But it is pointing to that being true, but it could always be wrong. Just making sure you guys know where my thought process is. But either way, he's strong enough where he doesn't even need to be a fusion to be great. And I'm really excited to talk about him. Let's just say he has a semi-lord skill in his kit while not being a lord. But you'll see what that means in a second. Now, this guy is really cool. He is an infernal, and as you can see on the screen, these are his animations and everything, which I'm going to be looping for a bit while I talk about him. Before I get into it, make sure to like and subscribe to help out the channel, and big thanks to Cardush, who's going to have made the infographic that you're going to see soon. Panter, Rokonshi, Aressus, and T. Big shoutouts to all of them, and let's get into it. So to start off, we are going to have Lord Phineas right here. His name is Lord Phineas. He is not a lord, but there is a part of his kit which kind of functions a little bit similarly, and I'm going to compare it to something that was just added in the game, which a lot of you guys might not know about, but we'll get to that when we get there. To start off, this guy is an infernal unit. We haven't had an infernal in a while, and he is also a fighter. We haven't even had a fighter for a while. And somehow, he's not a nightmare fighter. Let's go! Which is pretty cool. We're going to be having a pretty interesting range here. I assume we'll get one more tile, so it'll be 4 tiles long, because this is the pre-promoted kind of range. His tags are burst damage and control, which is pretty cool. And his stats are absolutely amazing. Like, they are insane. And his design is sick. So, to go over the stats pretty quickly, he has over 30,000 HP, which is ridiculous. That is insanely high. That puts him in the top 3, maybe 5 HPs in the game. If I go over to the game, just to kind of check, because I'm curious right now. If you didn't know, I don't really read a lot of these kits thoroughly because I like to be a little bit surprised. But if we go to fighters, we got Jira with the highest HP, 31,000. So he's almost there. He's missing about 700 between them. And if you look at Abomination, who used to have the highest, it's actually lower than Lord Phineas, which is crazy. So Lord Phineas is actually going to have, sorry, I kind of messed up my OBS there for a second, but Lord Phineas is going to have the second highest HP in the game, because if you didn't know, Abomination was before, and now Jira is, so he slots right between them. That is incredibly impressive. And speaking of incredibly impressive, his attack is just as cool. 7,250. That is a lot of attack. Ardea, if you didn't know, is about 8,000, and most fighters recently have been having about 6,000, mainly like Kagiri. Wukong, when he comes out, will have about that much. It's a pretty high amount, but 7,000 is ridiculous. That is incredibly high. Defense, 2,400, also very high for a fighter, surprisingly. We're also going to have magic resistance at about 600, surprisingly pretty good as well. Now, the block is 2, and the cost is 23. He is tied for Elysia as the most expensive fighter in the game. A little bit worse for some viability, but you can get past it with the proper setup. His max rage, 1,000. Auto rage 13, rage on attack 10, rage on hit 5. Pretty basic stats there. Now let's get into the kit pretty quickly, just because. And the kit, what we're going to start with, is the kind of pseudo-lord skill I was talking about in the Viscount's Flame. So with the talent, when an ally uses their ultimate, any ally on the field, the hero, him, gains 1 stack of Viscount's Flame for 20 seconds, and it can stack up to 5 times. Viscount's Flame is each stack increases crit damage by 25% stack per stack for 20 seconds. So if you have a bunch of ultimates being used, which is what's going to happen in a lot of content, pretty much all content in the game, he's going to be able to stack up 125% crit damage for 20 seconds. That is really, really cool. But it doesn't stop there. The kind of Lord skill part is if the ally is from Infernal Blast, they also gain 1 stack of Viscount's Flame. So, I say Lord skill. It's not exactly a Lord skill by any means. But considering this guy is not a Lord, this is just kind of a buffing thing for anyone on the field, just because they're that faction and they're triggering this ability. 25% crit damage is nothing to sneeze at if it is all the time. It really does make a big difference. And it happens for only Infernal Blast. So you're going to use him with Zillitu. Zillitu triggers her ultimate, triggers his Viscount's Flame, so he's getting 25% more crit damage. And then she's also getting it because she triggered her ult, and she's from Infernal Blast. If Setchum triggers his ult when when Lord Phineas is on the party, I don't think he needs to be placed, but I could be wrong. He might have to be placed. I'm not sure about that part. But then Setchum will be getting that 25%, and so will Lord Phineas. Now, if it is the other ally, it's just going to be 1 stack. There is no multiple stacks when it comes to that, but he can get multiple stacks. Very, very cool ability there. And to kind of compare it to something in the game right now, I have to show you guys something that they just added. It was not in the patch notes as far as I know, but Crowdor actually has something kind of similar. Crowdor got a random new passive. Now, it does only work in Gear Raid and Artifact Raid. Lord Phineas's one will work all the time, but during the ultimate, his ultimate, Crowdor's ultimate, it increases the block of all Northerner Defender allies on the field by 1, which is really weird. This was not in the game before. Nothing like this was ever in the game, and now Crowdor has it, and Lord Phineas is going to be having it. And really, the most apt description I have is that it is a pseudo-Lord skill, because nothing like this really exists that much in the game. They're a little different, but it's the most apt comparison I can make. Now, to go over the rest of the kit, because that is not the entire kit, just keep in mind that he's going to have 125% crit damage just all the time. His basic is pretty basic. His first passive, though, is kind of interesting, where it increases his penetration by 7% for each burning effect on the target. He's going to be great for burner comps. It looks like there are a lot of heroes for burner comps. I mean, Anai, Micah, stuff like that. Now Lord Phineas, and it can stack up to 7 stacks. This is just going to add a bit of viability in a lot of content for other Infernals, and as you could read from his talent and parts of his kit, he's going to work really well with his faction and other burners, which is great. Now his second passive is Blade of Treachery. We don't have a name for the first one. It's a leak, so I'm doing my best. Now, the basic attack has a 25% chance to deal 270% damage and inflict stun on a target. This chance doubles during the ultimate, which we will get to in a second. I like saving the ultimate for last. Stunning is getting more used now, especially with Wukong coming out, who has so much stun. I don't know if it's a good thing, because stun is kind of mediocre in this game, but that is definitely pretty interesting. And the chance doubles during the ultimate, so every basic will have 50% chance to deal that amount of damage and inflict stun. That's really, really good. Makes his ultimate even better. Now, the ultimate is Devil's Den, where he increases his attack by 50% and doubles the effect of Viscount's Flame gained by the hero while increasing attack range. So much stuff is happening. Let me break this down first before we get into the rest of the ultimate. He's getting 125% Viscount's Flame, because it's 25%, 5 stacks, stuff like that, without the ultimate. But in the ultimate, he's increasing his attack by 50%, and he's doubling that Viscount's Flame, so he's getting 250% crit damage. Like, that's insane. It's already kind of hard to build 400%, let's say, on any unit in the game. Let's say you have Zillitu, who gains an extra 15% from one of her awakenings, if I'm not mistaken. then you're going to put as much crit damage as you can. You're going to get like 450%, unless you have ridiculous gear. This guy is going to have 250% in his ultimate. It's a pretty easy thing to get this Viscount's Flame. And then you're also going to have the 150% from him just existing, because every unit has that amount. That's 400% crit damage. Just because. Why not? And he's also increasing his 7,000 attack on top of his ridiculous other stats. His 7,000 attack, 50% more. That's like 10k attack, not including all of the gear and everything, where you're going to be able to hit like 30k plus. That's ridiculous. And he's also increasing his attack range. He doesn't need a higher attack range. His attack range is going to be 4 tiles. What the frick? Upon activation, because we're not even done, deals 800% burst damage one time to one target in range. Boom! Hitting them with ridiculous single target damage for no reason. He doesn't need it. He's already strong enough. And then he changes to ranged attack. Removes all stacks of Viscount Flame from the hero when the ultimate ends. Pretty interesting ultimate there. Now that last bit is a little bit confusing. And I'll be honest, I don't even really know what this is. I don't know what ranged attack means in this kit, because it doesn't show anywhere else. But when people make test server videos, because I know he's on test server, they're just not allowed to make videos yet, you're going to get a little bit more of a breakdown on that part. I don't really know. But either way, no matter what that is, it's kind of ridiculous. And then he removes all of his stacks of the crit damage increase. But realistically, having just other heroes, you know, use their ults sometimes, it's pretty easy, right? And it's going to be great for pretty much everything. Because, for example, in Guild Boss, you're going to be triggering more than 5 ults at a single time, right? For all of these shields. And sure, he's not going to do as much damage in between, but you don't need to do that, because you're only ever really going to be doing the damage when you have those inspiration effects, or those other people ulting, you know, things like that. So this is really, like, you could interpret it as whenever you're going to use the ultimate, he's going to have full stacks. He's going to cleanse it at the end, but you're just going to get them again later. Very cool kit. I'm really excited because he's unique, and I always get really excited for unique heroes for no reason. And that attack stat is diabolical, including 50% more and all of this stuff. And his basic attack, which in his ultimate, it will probably be a basic attack. He has a chance to do 270% damage. Like, I didn't even mention that part, and it's ridiculous. He's gonna have 400% passive, just like there, crit damage on top of whatever crit damage he's getting. He's increasing his attack. He's doing 270% damage. He's buffing other people. Like, what the hell? What are these heroes? Anyways, let's go into the the awakenings, because he doesn't stop there. I assume he will be summonable and not a fusion. Unfortunately, I really thought he was, because I interpreted a message a little bit wrong, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, the A1 is increases the base chance of Blade of Treachery by 5%, and Blade of Treachery can now inflict burning. He has a lot of burning kind of passive effects, and penetration, which is really strong. If you didn't know, 7 by 7, that's almost 50%. It's about 49%, whatever. Let's round it to 50. Penetration is really good. This is like half of a Silas ult, because Silas ignores 100% of defense. Penetration works kind of similar. So that's going to be really good for stuff like Guild Boss 2 and just regular content. He's going to be also putting out burning generally. And it's a 50% during his ultimate for every basic to do a burning effect, or 25% chance all the time. He's going to be a great burner. Possibility of putting out multiple burns. That's great. Now the A2, usually for these heroes, they're going to only have like plus 400 attack or whatever, 500 attack. This guy actually gets 5% attack, which is really good. And then the A3 is when an Infernal Blast ally uses their ultimate, the talent switches to granting 50% crit damage to them. So it doubles the talent. Imagine just his ability with 50% more crit damage whenever they ult. That's a pretty big deal in all content that you're using Infernals. It's just unfortunate that they're not meta anymore. Not the craziest awakening, but pretty cool. A4 penetration, because God knows he needed more. And then the A5 is after the ultimate ends, 50% chance to retain Viscount's Flame. Pretty solid, but nowhere near worth the awakening in my eyes. Pretty cool there. So like I broke down, he's insane. He has penetration for burning, comps. He's buffing other infernals while also buffing himself off of allies, any ally, not just infernals. He has some of the most ridiculous stats in the game. Second highest HP, probably a top 5 attack in the game. He's boosting his attack, doubling his already insane buffing that he's giving to himself. He's putting out stuns and doing extra damage, and it doubles during the ultimate for some reason. And then he's just like, he has crazy range. He's going to be insane. He's going to be insane. Like, why are we even having Xena when we know this guy is on the horizon? Xena is going to be almost the same range. Infernal Fighter, they'll work great together, but he will probably fill her role even better. And he has ridiculous stats. It's absurd. I don't know what they were thinking, but I'm all for it. This guy's gonna be great, so I'm really excited. Is the Wukong strength? Probably not, but it's really cool. And thank goodness, he is not a Nightmare Fighter. It has been so many Nightmare Fighters in a row. I'm so glad he's not. That would be ridiculous. I thank you, Moonon, for not another Nightmare Fighter. Anyways, that's Lord Phineas. Not a lord, but it is his name. Thank you guys for watching. I know I kind of rambled for a while, but I think it deserved it, considering I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this guy. Is he going to be the strongest unit coming? No, definitely not. Did I accidentally make a mistake by saying he would probably be free? Yes, but as you can see by this post here, this is by Rokonshi. He said this. He said Elysia and Lord Phineas will be available for summoning or fusion. But the thing is, it could just mean fragment summoning and fusion. So I'm not 100% sure what to think. So I'm just going to commit to saying that he is a fusion in some way, because he might be. We're not 100% sure. With these leaks, things are always up in the air. So some of this stuff could change. They could even nerf him before release, which I really hope they don't do. And I seriously doubt that they will. I think he's completely fine the way he is. But that's Lord Phineas. Super cool hero. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts are. Are you excited? Are you not? That's it from me. Destined signing out.